All right, everybody. Today we are going to get onto Nasdaq.com and we are going to be looking at some real stocks and completing a stock chart. So, just like our Google agenda, or excuse me, our Canvas agenda says for the day, we would head over to Google Classroom, and there are two things we want to find. We want to find a sheet called Stock Chart and a doc titled Stock Links. So I like to look under my classwork. Here's my links, and here is my stock chart. All right, so we're going to be looking at a total of 10 stocks. We'll walk through just one together to get you guys kind of the process as to what you're going to be doing. But we're going to be looking at blue chip, growth, cyclical, defensive, and income stocks on Nasdaq.com. And I've got the link ready to go for you right here at Nasdaq. That is one of the stock indexes that we've discussed in class so far. All right, so I've got Nasdaq open. I'm not going to do anything else yet. And now I'm going to head over to my stock links. And I've linked a couple of articles for each type of stock. Right now, you definitely don't have to pick items that you find in the articles, but I did want to give you a starting point. You're free to do your own Google searches if you would like to. But let's go ahead and go to the Motley Fool and see what they have to say about some blue chip stocks. Remember, blue chip stocks are those with a track record of success. So here we see Apple, Berkshire Hathaway, which is in the insurance industry, Coca-Cola, Johnson & Johnson, Walt Disney, just a few that they mention here. So as you look at these, you'll notice there's some information after each one. The NYSE means that the stock index on which the Berkshire Hathaway stock is traded is the New York Stock Exchange. Same thing with Coca-Cola. Apple is on Nasdaq, and Johnson & Johnson is on the New York Stock Exchange. The letters that you see listed after that, that's the stock ticker symbol, ticker. So when we go to Nasdaq or MarketWatch, we look up companies by their ticker symbol. So Johnson & Johnson is JNJKO. A couple of different ones here for Berkshire Hathaway, probably because they had a stock split. And AAPL for Apple. I'm going to go with Johnson & Johnson. Okay, so when I go to Nasdaq.com, in this search bar where it says find a symbol, I'm just going to type in JNJ, and there is Johnson & Johnson. There is all sorts of information for me to look at here, just a ton of it. And it goes back several years. When I look at my stock chart, the first thing I'm going to put in here for my company is Johnson & Johnson. Let me zoom in a little bit here so you guys can see that better. The exchange, or the stock index on which it's used on. Now, I saw it in the article, but I'm going to show you where you can find it on Nasdaq as well. Right down here. That's why I try to keep the phrasing consistent. So on Nasdaq, it calls it exchange. So I'm going to put an NYSE. It's traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Sector is going to be healthcare. And I know that it could also be classified as a defensive stock, right? Because we're dependent upon our healthcare system regardless of what's going on with the economy. So you're going to find a few different sectors. You might see consumer staples, consumer goods, technology, finance. In this case, we're going to go with healthcare or Johnson & Johnson. The ticker was JNJ. Now let's get into some info about this stock. And what you're going to notice up here, this top number, that's the current price of a share of stock for Johnson & Johnson, what it's being traded for. And this is changing nonstop. Just take a look at that. So whenever I look at it, that's what I'm going to write down. So the next time it changes, here's what I'm going to go with. $149.81. And it just jumped up another 2 cents. I'm going to stick with $149.81. Whatever you write down is fine, because it's going to be constantly changing. If it gives you fractions of pennies, just round it to the nearest cent. Look at that, it's gone up 7 cents in the last few seconds. So let's go ahead and use that one, 149.88. So one share of stock right now is being traded for $149.88. This is the today's change. Look at that, it dropped another 7. Here I'm in the red, so it has gone down. This is the dollar amount, 98 cents. This is the percent that it's changed. It's gone down 0.64%. Ooh, look at that, it went right back to that. So I'm gonna try to grab that. So it's gone down 97 cents. So in today's change, I'm gonna go ahead and put minus $, 0.97. It's gone down 97 cents since the start of the day today. If it's a positive number, no need to put a plus, just put in the dollar amount. All right. Next up is the share volume. This is going to tell us, and I apologize that chart, the other stuff keeps popping up. It's just kind of in a weird spot when I am scrolling. The share volume tells me how many shares of stock have been traded today so far. The average volume tells me on average per day how many shares of stock are traded. So typically, it's about 6.4 million shares are traded every day. So far, I'm at about 225,000. So I'm going to put that number in our share volume. That's just going to give you guys an idea when you evaluate different stocks, how actively they're being traded. So 225,098 shares have been traded so far today. Previous close is what it closed for the day prior. Yesterday, Johnson & Johnson closed with its last stock being traded at $150.85. Oops, forgot my $. So from where it's at now and where it closed yesterday, excuse me, we have right around $1 worth of wiggle room here. My 52-week high low. In the last year, what's the highest it's closed at and what's the lowest it's closed at? Again, I'm just getting a snapshot of its volatility over the last year. So its high was 157. And its low was 109.16, right down here, 52-week high low. So almost $50 in volatility in the last year with Johnson & Johnson. Market cap, what that is going to tell us is if you were to basically liquidate all of the shares of stock at its price per stock, this is how much all of those shares would be equal to, dollar amount wise. Hundreds, thousands, millions, billions. $394 billion is the market capitalization. So if they were to cash all of these out, that's about how much it'd be worth, $394 billion. So I'm going to try to remember that number. Here's little tricks sometimes. This doesn't work as well with Google Forms, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to copy. Let's put my $sign in here. Right click. Paste as plain text. There we go. That worked. Paste as plain text worked out well. $394 billion. Crazy. It's a lot of cash. Annualized dividend. So we've talked about two ways stockholders earn money. There's capital gains and there are dividends. Dividends is what the corporation pays to you, usually every quarter, so every 3 months, just for hanging on to their share of stock. Annualized would mean in the last year, how much have they paid to stockholders for each share of stock? $4.04. So if you held on to a share of Johnson & Johnson for the entire year, they would have paid you $4.04 for each share that you own. That's pretty high. That's pretty good. That might be the highest one that I find. So 404. All right, so that is kind of how you go through our stock chart here. You just start by taking a look at an article, choosing the company for each of these sectors that I've linked for you, or excuse me, each of these classifications. Put in the company, its exchange, make sure you get its ticker symbol, and then you're just browsing through Nasdaq to find that information. And what you're going to have at the end is you'll be able to compare prices changes, volatility over the last year, dividends as well. So this is going to be your starting point when we start our competition next week. While you're on Nasdaq, if you want to play around with these charts, I think they're pretty cool. I can take a look at a 5-year window. You can see since 2016, there are peaks and valleys, but stock prices generally of successful companies rise over time. And what you're going to notice when you guys look at these all the time today is when you hit March, you're going to see a big dip, because we all know what happened in March with the economy really being impacted by COVID-19. So feel free to take a look at that so you can see that volatility. All right, so you've got 10 stocks to get rolling with today. We'll have some time later on to finish this up as well. But use the stock links if you'd like to, and make your way on through your stock chart.